Well, hey there, rock stars. Sarah Rockin' Robbins here with the Rockstar Recruiting School Live, coming to you with another prospecting tip of the day. I hope you've been enjoying these. I know I sure have. Make sure to comment below, tell me who you are, where you're tuning in from, so we can better get acquainted. And don't forget, for a chance for a little shout, you can share this on your team pages for a little virtual viewing party, because as you know, the more who know, then the greater your team will grow. Thank you, Randy, for saying you love watching these every day. I love doing them every day, so that's the good news. We're having a lot of fun together. As you're introducing yourself, I would love to introduce myself for those that are listening for the first time. By the way, if it's your first time, click the number 1, press the number 1 in the comments below. We would love to welcome you guys. Who am I? I am a former kindergarten teacher turned network marketing top leader, top recruiter, and top earner in my company. And of course, I just love taking what I know and sharing it as a gift with all of you in the networking profession. I am also the author of the best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, and the creator of the CD series, the Rockstar Recruiting School, which is now on MP3 at sarahrobbins.com. And of course, my one for leaders, the Master Class Edition. I want to welcome you guys all to our live training for today. It's good seeing you all. And I wanted to just come to you live with the number one thing that I implemented in my business last year. Now, keep in mind, I've recruited personally over 300 people. I have over 300,000 on my team, just consultants alone. And we did over $1 billion in sales last year. So for me to say this is the number one thing that I implemented, this is big news. I want you to tune in, and I want you to think about how you can implement this into your team, no matter what the scale or size, or into your future team, or even in your personal business as well. So are you guys ready? I've got to hear you. I've got to get some love. The more interaction, then the better I do for all of you. I am going to share with you the number one thing that I implemented into my network marketing business last year, and that is virtual events. People ask me how I do them, why I do them all the time, how they're working for my team. So I'm so excited to share this hot, juicy little tip with all of you guys today. All right, first and foremost, let me just say this because I think this is important. You hear me say it in my book all the time. All the time. There's a whole entire chapter on it, and I'm going to open it up here. It is on launching your business. So basically, it's under our power presenting chapter, page 63. You hear me guys say, you hear me recommending all of the time, no matter what your business is. I don't care if you're party plan or not. I'm not party plan. However, I recommend live events. Why? It's a great way to leverage your time and get your product and business in front of a lot of people all at one time, okay? Also, there's something about the excitement that's created. There's something about the belief that's built in you. So many leaders on my team have said, in fact, top leaders always train on, we do Sunday night calls. They always train and they say, man, I was going to, back out on that event. But once I did that event, that's what really got my business going. So I don't tell people that it's a choice. When they start with me and they say, you know what? I want to be successful. I'll say, okay, here's the next step. I want you to send me a few dates for your launch event. And we just, call it, it can be like a ribbon cutting. If you're in an anti-aging company, leave the aging to wine and cheese. You could do a little cocktails and conversations or coffee and conversations. I don't tell people it's a choice. It's not, do you want to do an event? They said they wanted to be successful. They're trusting me. So I'll say, next step is you send me dates for your event and then we schedule our next training. You do, then I do. And then we talk about their training. And we talk about nowadays, now that we're living in this virtual world, how to launch their business locally and virtually simultaneously. We're going to talk about that here on our tip of the day. But here's the thing, guys, nothing takes the place of live events. So I think we can get really, messed up when we start, forgetting about what got us here in the very first place. So every single week, Kimberly said she took our recruiting training last week, and I just want to pause here. She said she took our recruiting masterclass. You can purchase it still, guys, at sarahrobbins.com under the store. And she said she's had so much success already. So she registered for the social media masterclass. It's also on the site. So glad to hear that. I'm glad it's helping to rock your business. I love those testimonials, guys. Keep that in, or keep them coming in. Okay, so virtual events, why they're important, but why you've got to still keep the belly to belly. When my mom and I started our business, we didn't have training, we didn't have trainers, we didn't even have a compensation plan yet because we were the first 2 consultants in our company, okay? So basically what we did, we took our products, we told a story, our story and the story about the products and the story about the company, and we would tell people every single week, hey, we're doing this again next week, invite your friends. And people would invite their friends. By the end of the month, we had 300 people by simply doing an event. That was back in the day, like before technology, before we were on Facebook. So let me just tell you, that's the power of a live event. Natalia, my business partner, built a 6-figure income within her first year. Results not typical. She did it super fast, but here's what she did. She tells people all the time, she created a groundswell in her area, building week-to-week hosting events. Again, back before the days of social media, she did, small coffee shop, big coffee shop, small clubhouse, big clubhouse, small hotel, big hotel. Now her meetings can have thousands of people at them. So she really leveraged events. But now here's the cool thing, guys. So again, it's not going to take the place of, but this is in addition to, is the power of these virtual events. Remember, the live events build belief for your guests, but they also build belief for your team. So it's really important. By the way, let me just give a side note here before I get to our juicy tip, because I think this is important and I love to teach and train and I love to just share experiences. I was talking to a top leader, Jane, the other day. Shout out to Jane. And she was saying, what do I do when, maybe I'm new and I'm starting a meeting in my area and, people aren't coming. I said, you solicit the support of your team and you say, you know what, I'll have you do registration. I'll have you do product setup. They have buy-in when you give them a role, right? A role to play in the training. But I said, you also have to be honest and say, if you want this tool to be available to you and your team, I need you guys to show up. We need people in the room when people have guests. So let's all commit to show up and to show up with a guest. And if for some reason we can't bring a guest, then let's make sure that we bring our list, our contact list, because if nobody shows, then we're working on inviting to next week together. And you host those meetings consistently, and the more consistent you are, the more they will grow over time. But you've got to communicate well, expectations to your team, involve them, and that will be kind of what changes the dynamic of that meeting. So let's talk about where the virtual element comes in. First and foremost, why is it powerful? Well, it is a really great way now to scale what you're doing. So let's say that you do a local meeting in your area, but you've got a team growing out of the state or out of the country, and you want to involve those people as well. So it's a really great way to scale. It's also a great way to provide convenience for somebody, let's say, that can't get to a Tuesday night meeting. Maybe they're a working mom, they want to leverage a replay or something the next day. Lane asked the question, are these team meetings for new customers? So these can be for obviously your team, but these are going to be informational events about the product and the opportunity. So these are virtual informational events, and they can be for customers, they can be for prospects, you can invite friends and family, etc. Okay? Now there's 2 ways that I use them, okay? The first way that I leverage virtual is when I launch a new business partner. So for example, I launched 4 new business partners. I recruited 4 new business partners off of social media last month, and I'll share with you how. But before I get to that, so we're launching them, and I shared with them, we're going to have you do a live event, but we are going to launch locally and virtually simultaneously. So as you're there and as they're doing their launch event, what they're going to do is have somebody in the crowd Facebook Live into a group, a private group, where they've added people to the page. Remember, they're going to invite their local people to come to their living room, but the virtual people, the people that are out of state, they can say, I'm hosting this great event at my home. I know you can't be there, but I wanted to have you as an important part of my big day, as the grand opening of my business. I created a private Facebook group where you can watch live. And so the cool thing is if you have somebody sitting in the room doing a Facebook Live. You just create a private group, and then they're doing a Facebook Live. It can be one of your guests, it could be a friend or family member, not you, you're up doing the presentation, but they're Facebook Living you into a group. That's where your long distance people can watch. Or if you have somebody locally who didn't end up showing up or who couldn't attend, you can now add them to that group later and they can watch it as a replay. It's always good to have accountability though, to say, hey, what time can you watch it? Okay, noon on Tuesday, I'll follow up at 1 o'clock, answer your questions, give you a recommendation for the product, etc. So, launching people virtually and locally simultaneously. This is such a great way to leverage. Like back in the day, it was so silly. I would do a live event and a virtual event for them. Now I'm like, wait a minute, let's do it all at one time, leverage the excitement that's happening at that event and maximize our time too. The second way that I have been leveraging virtual is with monthly virtual events for my team. So, because of the nature of our product, we do a virtual beauty bash. But I want you to think about how you could creatively brand this no matter what your company, your product, or your service is. And I've done them sometimes, when we're building some momentum after a product launch weekly, and I'll have special guests on. Another thing that I'm always committed to do is I do them monthly. Now, we have just kind of a really great formula for these events. We'll offer some giveaways, so to get people to watch and attend. We always offer those at the end, by the way. We tell them that they have to be on live at the end in order to be eligible to win, so that keeps the guests on till the end of the presentation. But we keep it short, we keep it tight, and it's a lot of stories, stories about the product, stories about the business. And we get engagement too, by the way, by asking them a lot of questions. That's how they're actually entered to win, is by answering all of the questions that we'll ask during the presentation. Like, hey, if this product was recommended for you, shout out below and you can be entered to win our prize pack at the end of the viewing. Now, guys, I see so many questions coming in, and this is a short little training for today, but people always ask how. They want to see how I do a virtual event. They want to know from, the setup of the page to how the offers work to how we're actually getting people to sign up, customers and consultants during the event. There's so many pieces and so many parts. I could do just a whole training on this. So I wanted to tell you guys, if you haven't already registered for my social media masterclass, I'm going to be covering virtual events at length, in detail, showing my screen. You're going to see how they work. These can be personal events for you, or they could be big virtual events that you are doing for teams of people. We'll cover how to launch a new distributor strong, how to do these virtual events as well. But guys, I am also going to be covering how to leverage live video. So Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and we're going to be covering so many things as well. I'll tell you what I'm going to be covering in a sec, but here's the thing. Shout out below if you're registered, and if you aren't, guys, this one is going to sell very, very fast. On August 8th at 9 p.m., and don't worry, if you can't make it live, there's going to be a replay. I am going to be doing a social media summit for 2018. I did one like 5 years ago, and guys, everything has changed. Social media changes by the day. It definitely changed 5 years ago. I really believe that this is going to be one of the most rocking trainings that is offered in the industry. So you can go to sarahrobbins.com right now, and under the store, register for a social media masterclass happening on August 8th. Doesn't matter your company or product, totally generic, and there will be a replay. Now, this is important. When you pay, you're going to get a little link. Don't be fast-fingered and click off that. When you see a blue box come up that says you're all paid up, it asks you to complete your registration. Thank you for registering, Rose. Shout out as you guys register. Click on complete your registration. This is the second step. You have to enter in your email to get emailed your private viewing link as well as your private password too. Okay, they're coded, so only one person gets to view at a time. So these are the things that we're going to cover. And by the way, if you have a link to register for that, just a direct link, if anybody has it or can find it real fast, go ahead and put it in the comments for me, and I'll make sure that I do that later on as well. These are the things we're going to cover. First of all, I want you to know I have a very special guest coming on who built 2 6-figure businesses off of Instagram, and she did her network marketing business to 6 figures in a year, okay? She is a top recruiter and team builder within her company. And get this is important. Thank you for posting, Mary. No advertising money spent. She's not doing ads. You guys want to know how to do it without doing ads and spending a bunch of money? The special guest is going to be on the Social Media Summit, the Social Media Masterclass on August 8th. You've got to hear how she's doing it. She's going to cover Instagram and Instagram stories and really how to build a tribe and have people coming to you for your business or product. No sales pitches, no spam. She's going to talk about how to attract people to you. Okay, that's on August 8th. I'm going to cover Facebook and Facebook stories. Now, let me just tell you guys this. This is powerful. This is the #1 way that I've used to recruit over 300 people in my company, over 300,000 on my team, $1 billion in sales last year. The #1 way, the #1 way. I told you I could do a whole training just on Facebook. Well, guess what? That's what yours truly is going to be talking on. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do it with no advertising dollars. Guys, I'm going to tell you humbly, I built several multi-million-dollar businesses, one of them in network marketing, through social media. I mean, guys, it is powerful. So I'm going to be training you on exactly how, okay? Then we're going to be covering live video. Now, here's the thing. You can put that in the that's too hard box. Live video, it's just too hard for me. I'm too shy, blah, blah, blah. Or in order to remain relevant, we're going to take it out of that box together, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can do it like a pro without having to be a perfectionist. Did you hear that? Guys, you see me show up on these things. I'm wearing my t-shirt. My hair is barely combed. I've got a toddler. I've got a huge team. In fact, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Actually, maybe I'll tell it to you tomorrow. I don't want to share the juicy news now. I have a really funny story about somebody huge in the world, like a celebrity, who found one of my videos and was like, but she sits really weird in these chairs and, you know, the lighting's not good. Every day people are like, can you change the angle of your camera so you don't have a double chin, or put the lights on you better, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, here's the thing. If I have to be perfect, for me, that equals procrastination. So I'm going to teach you how to build a tribe. Guys, I haven't had a hard time doing it. I've got 250,000 people on this page. It seemed to have worked just fine, okay? Yes, I know I've got room for improvement, but here's the thing. We're going to talk about doing live video that works without having to have fancy setup, without having to be perfect, but in order for you to make progress that's going to matter for you right now in your business. You can do the perfect stuff later, okay? When you're earning zillions of dollars, right? Wink, wink, in the industry. I'm just being funny with you. But when you're doing super, super well and you want to invest or you've got the time, great. But now's the time to make progress. We're also going to be covering virtual events too. How to do virtual well. I mean, the very nuts and bolts of it, from pre-event, during event, post-event, how to make them work for the people you're launching, for your personal events, for your teams too. Yes, Kimberly, I will cover how to get people on the lives. In fact, will you guys do me a favor? Will you flood this video today with comments on exactly what you want me to train on the Social Media Summit? I will promise you, I personally, I manage my social media. I don't have an employee. I personally will read every single comment, and I will try to implement everything into the training that's important and relevant to this topic. So if you'll post in the comments the things you want me to cover, I'll give you a thumbs up so you know that I saw it. And I will be sure to cover anything that will be relevant to the topic of using social media to build your business. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing this video with your team. This is called Social Media That Sells for a reason, because it's selling without selling. It's August 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern. All companies are welcome. And remember, if you can't make it live, we will be doing a recording as well. So comment below when you register. Go to sarahrobbins.com now. Go to the store and then purchase our Social Media Summit. Remember, if you need more help on recruiting in general, language, ideas, etc., outside of social media, you can also purchase the recruiting masterclass there at the same time as well. All right, guys, the #1 thing that I implemented for my team and in my personal business last year was virtual events. Who's committed to start implementing these for your team too? I'm doing my month-end one. I'm getting ready. I'm actually putting that on the calendar today, putting it out to my team of rock stars, because it's such a great way every single month that I can help them finish strong. And it builds community, guys. That's a cool thing. It allows everybody across the country and now across the globe to see me present live without me having to be on 50 airplanes, right? And they can invite guests too. And I can powerfully present and help them close like a rock star. All right, guys, I hope this helped you to rock your network marketing business, and I hope you have a great day, and God bless, and goodbye for now. Rock on Rockstars. Go get registered. Comment below. I'll see you here every day. And until August 8th. All right, we'll talk to you soon.